What's the title to the property? Are there any encumbrances? An encumbrance is something like a restriction or an easement or a mortgage. Now, mortgages and tax liens and that sort of thing are paid off at the closing. So this, normally the blank that's here is you get a warranty deed. You'll hear what kind of a deed you're going to get. You're going to get a warranty deed, normally. Unless you're buying at a foreclosure sale, or a lender who's foreclosed and you're buying, then you may get a quitclaim deed. You're more than likely not going to get a warranty deed.
But you most likely will get a warranty deed on short sale?
No. Well, on a short sale you should.
You
should. Because a short sale is nothing more than a regular sale, except that the existing lender takes less money than what's owed on the mortgage.
Okay.
Again, if you're dealing in short sale properties, time is a big issue. You've got to have a contingency in your contract to get out if this runs on for too long, because you may want to take another opportunity, as Rick said, and rescind this contract. The other thing to remember when you buy a property that's in foreclosure, most titles today, particularly foreclosure titles, have problems. In Rhode Island, we have some very strict procedures that have to be followed for a foreclosure to be valid. The problem is here in Rhode Island, it's done statutorily, meaning there's no judicial involvement. No one goes to court. It's simply a matter of notifying the borrower and then publishing the notice that we're going to foreclose and then conducting the sale. Consequently, because there's no court to bless what's been done, it has to be done exactly the way the statute says for it to be done. And there's an awful lot of times when you get right up to the closing and someone says, well, this title, there's a problem. Most foreclosure titles, unfortunately, a much larger percentage than non-foreclosure titles, have problems. And I won't go into what they are, but just know if you're dealing with a foreclosure, more than likely there's going to be an issue.
And just one sort of plug that I need to put in for Jeff, because he was in the title business for so many years, he can often walk a problem through to the right person. Or he might have a contact at a bank, or I don't know if I said that correctly, but you know who the players are and where they play and how they play.
Well, one other thing that I will talk to you a little bit about, you're going to hear the term servicer. A lot of times when you're dealing with a short sale, maybe the lender is Bank A, but the loan is being serviced by some other entity. So now when you want to get this approval, you've got to deal with the servicer, because the lender has basically said, you know what, we're going to take all of the function of collecting the money and dealing with the normal monthly payments being paid and that sort of thing. We're going to pay another entity to do that. So when you're doing a short sale, you're going to be talking to the servicer, but the servicer has to go back and get the original lender's approval. This is where you get into the time delay. You have the identical problem on a foreclosure. The servicer is handling all the business for the lender, but the documents have to be signed by the lender. So I'm not going to go through all the what could happen, but this is where you just can see, you know, and they're big entities. I'll pick Bank of America just because they're a big entity, but they are, you know, 6 to 7 months on an approval for a short sale. And many times they have law firms that handle large amounts of foreclosures, and trying to get someone in one of those firms to understand that there's a problem that needs to be addressed. They very much try to stonewall things, and they very much try to say, well, this is it, take it or leave it. So the problem is when you take it, you have to make sure that if you go to resell the property, the problem isn't so severe that it's going to cause you a problem. Because once you own it, then it becomes your problem. So, and again, your attorney, your title company should take care of that process for you. But just know that it can be a frustrating process, because the attorney is trying to deal with someone who really either doesn't want to, doesn't understand, or doesn't have the capacity legally to make the decisions.
For the lien holder, the bank that owned the property at that point in time had not filed the foreclosure deed. There was no closing. People are sitting there with a moving van. waiting for that foreclosure deed to be filed at town hall. It's just one thing that can happen. I mean, it's far out, I'm not gonna tell you it happens all the time, but.
Well, it's a
I've been
pretty
lucky
large
enough to see
percentage where there's trouble. There are very few foreclosures.
it. I see, I'm trying to be nice about it.
Well, no, they really are. I mean, they take different forms, but just so you know, if you're dealing with a short sale or a foreclosure, just be prepared for a bumpy ride. So, in any event, if you continue on a lot of these other